All right, guys, here we go again. I had to do this one because everybody want to know why Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck just can't get it together. Okay, so we're gonna go over some things in that chart, and so you can get an understanding why these two individuals cannot be together. Okay, they tried it once, then they went back and tried to do it again. And I had to do this one because we all have to, if people wanted to figure out, like, why can't they just be together? Well, these two, they should be together, okay? We're going to take a look at the charts and so you guys get a glimpse of why things are ending the way they're ending in their marriage. And they haven't been married that long, but as you can see, it's well, they kind of got married at the wrong time. I mean, but it doesn't really matter how you slice the pie. These two individuals should not really be together. Okay, um, they called it quits one time, and that should have been it. So let's get into the charts to see what happened. All right, to see why these individuals have different things going on with them. Um, Astrologically, and their planetary alignments won't allow them to be together. Okay, so let's just take ladies first. Let's take Jennifer Lopez. Um, we do not have her birth time. Okay, so we're gonna put the chart at 12 p.m. like we always do with people that we do not have the birth time with. So she was born July 24th, 1969. We put it at Eastern Daylight Time, which is 12 p.m. She was born in the Bronx, New York. All right. Basically, what we're going to be doing with her chart, we're just going to be looking at the planetary alignments. We're not going to look at the houses, anything like that, because, of course, the houses can't be calculated without their birth time. So, basically, what we're going to be looking at in her chart is just the planetary alignments. Okay, that's kind of all we need anyway, as of right now. We do have Ben Affleck's birth time, so we're going to get deep into his. But for hers, we're just going to be looking at just a couple little things um, that's going to give you telltale signs of why um, she's unable to maintain a relationship. Okay. It's easy to get in one, like other celebrities that I kind of went over in the past. It's kind of easy for them to get into a relationship, but it's hard for them to maintain one. It's hard for them to maintain a marriage, okay, or relationship in general, okay. All right, so first, let's take a look at the sun. We know it's sitting Leo at 1 degrees. All right. Right by that sun, of course, we got Mercury. All right. So we already know it's combust. So not only is combust, but of course, Mercury's in its fall in Leo. Okay. So, and that goes for the both of them because both of them are a Leo. So we're going to take a look at his chart too. But yeah, she does have Mercury in Leo. So just keep that in mind, guys. Anytime you have a combust Mercury and you got the Mercury in Leo, Leo's in its fall. Mercury's in its fall in Leo. So the mentality or her thinking is going to be debilitated to a certain extent. Okay. All right. So now, why can't she just stay in relationships? All right. So, well, take a look. I mean, just look at everything for a moment, okay? We can see that her sun and Mercury is squaring the sun, okay? So this is just a planetary alignment, okay? So the longevity, okay, with anything, it's going to be hard for her to do. But what really creates that shortness, um, which is the opposite of longevity in relationships, is this Venus right here. Of course, we can see Venus is semi-squaring Saturn. Saturn rules longevity, okay? And also it's in Taurus. So, that's it's solid, but unfortunately, Venus is semi-squaring Saturn. So the longevity in her love life is not going to be there. On top of that, Venus is in Gemini. Guys, when you see Venus in Gemini like this, they're going to have multiple lovers, okay? Because that Gemini is multiple, okay? That's why you say Gemini the twins. So you're going to have multiple lovers. Anytime you see that, believe that person's going to have multiple lovers, okay? So she's going to have multiple lovers. That's another thing, all right? So you got the Sun and Saturn semi-squaring Venus. All right. So that right there in itself, I mean, Venus semi-squaring the Sun, that shows that her loyalty, she's not going to have that loyalty there. I mean, she's going to have it there for a while, but it's going to be short-lived. Okay. So just keep that in mind. This planetary alignment right here is the thing that's creating this repeat patterns of, falling into love, staying in love for, a nice period of time, but it's cut short. It's not no forever. Okay. It's not to death do us part. It is for an extended point in time. Okay. So, another thing you want to take a look at, which is very important, is her Juno. Okay. So we got Juno right down here. All right. And it's in Capricorn. Now, as we know, Capricorn's a little dry when it comes to relationships, right? And Juno is retrograde. That's another thing. Juno rules marriages, partnerships. Okay. It's in conjunct Mercury. Okay. And the Sun. So her thinking about relationships and marriages, she has to adjust to them. Okay. She has to adjust to them. So, and the way she adjusts to them, she doesn't adjust really good to relationships. Okay. Or marriages. By the time she adjusts to them, she's kind of bored of them. Okay. Now she, and then, she wants to get out of them. All right. And move on to something new. So, that's one thing to look at. So she stays with one person for, a long period of time. But it's short-lived. Okay. So, also now Venus, it is creating a quindecile with Juno. Okay. So that's why she, that's an enduring focus. So she loves being in marriages. She loves being in love and stuff like that, and loves being in marriages, but they just fizzle out. Okay. So that's why she's had multiple marriages. Okay. And I guarantee you, if we was to get her birth time, she would probably have that Venus somewhere in the 7th house with multiple marriages. Okay. Anytime you see a person that has, 4 or 5 or more marriages, more than likely they got Gemini on the 7th house cusp. Okay. Because that rules multiple marriages. All right. So, now, let's take a look at Ben's chart. Okay, we actually have his birth time. Okay, so Ben Affleck, of course, he was born on August 15th, 1972 at 2:53 a.m. post daylight time in Berkeley, California. So, now Ben, on the other hand, look, this guy don't need to be married at all. Okay. He's not good in relationships. Well, he's okay in relationships, but maintaining a marriage, no. He's really good with friends with benefits. Okay. But as far as him being in a marriage, a loving marriage and stuff like that, no, I would not recommend him being anything like that. Okay. First of all, his sun is at 22 degrees of Leo. Now, and when it comes to marriages and love, no, this is, he doesn't have a good setup for that. He doesn't have a good planetary alignment in his natal chart for that. He just doesn't. A lot of people have nice planetary alignments when it comes to marriages. A lot of people do not. I mean, he's one of those guys who just shouldn't do it. Okay. He doesn't have a good alignment for that. as far as the planets and the signs are concerned. All right. Another thing, he has actually Mercury in the second house. It's actually in Leo, his retrograde, and in his fall. All right. So, I mean, it's like a double whammy when it comes to his Mercury. So his thinking is a little bit debilitated as well. All right. So you got two people with thinking that's kind of off center. All right. So just keep that in mind, because this, again, this contributes to what goes on in their marriage. All right. Their way of thinking, their thought process, the way they communicate. All right. So his son is creating a sesquiquadrate to his seventh house cusp. That is a action-oriented square. Okay. It's basically 136 degree aspect. Okay. And it's an oriented square, which is really, really bad. Okay. So that's the reason he really doesn't do good in marriages. Another thing, which is just really crazy. Anytime you see this, they really don't do good in marriages. If you see this, when Venus, he has his Venus on his ascendant. Okay, it's in the 12th house, but it's in total opposite. Well, it's not in total opposition, but it's in opposition of a seventh house cusp. So the love in his marriage or relationship is going to be opposed. He opposes that. Okay, he doesn't really know how to show love like the woman wants. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, and also anytime you got Capricorn on the seventh house cusp like that, the relationship is going to be a little dry. The seventh house rules one-to-one relationships, of course. Okay, so he has Capricorn, which it's all in there, and that's Saturn rule. Where's Saturn? Of course, it's in the 12th house. It's hidden. All right. So, and also it's in Gemini. So, he's not going to be given that really love, affectionate love, like you should in a relationship, because it's kind of opposed. It's kind of dry. All right. And it changes as well because Saturn is in Gemini. Okay, so you got that going on. All right. Also, his Venus is semi-squaring the sun. So there you go again. And that's in the third house. The sun's in the third house. So again, that love is just not going to be there. He's not going to show love like he should, okay, in the relationship. So, but he loves being in relationships, though. I mean, really. I mean, he can be in a relationship easily. Look at his Juno. It's at 17 degrees of Libra. It's creating a nice little trine with Saturn. So he can be in a long-term friendship, but as far as relationships are concerned, this is a long-term friends with benefits type deal. Okay. Not marriage, partnership, nice partnership. Yes, by all means. Okay. But as far as marriage is concerned, no. It's too many, got too many squares going on with Venus, too many things going on with Juno. It's just, it's not really configured for him to be in a marriage or relationship. Okay. So, it's kind of crazy with it. So let's see another thing. Oh man, there's so much to unfold. He got some good stuff. I mean, just like Jennifer has some good stuff too. I mean, her Juno was trining Saturn. I mean, that was good. Just like I said, his Venus is trining the moon. So yeah, he loves being in romantic relationships. That's for sure. But maintaining a relationship for a long period of time and a loving relationship. So, I mean, anybody can, somebody can just be in a relationship with somebody, but maintaining that love in it, it can be a challenge. That's what he has. It's a challenge. But starting one up easily, yes, by all means. like I said, his Juno is trying to Saturn. That's a beautiful thing. But other than that, with his Venus opposing his seventh house cuss like that, it's going to be hard for him to maintain a loving relationship. All right. Now let's take a look at when they got married. Okay. The wedding day. Let's take a look at that. All right. So on their wedding day, okay. It wasn't. It was bad, but it wasn't too bad. All right. But it was bad enough where they just couldn't sustain. Okay. All right. First things first. What rules marriages? Juno, right? Juno rules marriages and partnerships. We got it right here, right? And I put the wedding at like 2:00. They got married July 16th, 2022. All right. So this is like 2 years. All right. So you got Juno right here. All right. 21 degrees of Pisces. I wouldn't suggest they get married when Juno's in Pisces. Pisces erases things. Okay. So you don't want to get your, marriage erased, but that's what's going on with them right now. It's just being erased. But Juno is in Pisces. Okay. It's all right. I mean, but it's creating a square with what? Venus. Venus is in what? Venus is in Gemini. Here we go again. Multiple lovers, multiple times. So they're doing this a second time again. But it's squaring, okay? And also Neptune. This is higher octave of Venus. It is in Pisces, but it's retrograde. That's also squaring Venus, okay? So you got that going on. So, I mean, it's really not a good day, in my opinion, for them to get married. Now, of course, they have some good stuff going on because they do got Juno and Neptune creating a nice little trine to the Sun and Mercury, but it wasn't enough. It's not enough, okay? You got to have, at least Venus trining the Sun, making a good junction to the Sun, or Juno making a trine to the Sun. Well, Juno is making a trine to the Sun, but it's not enough, guys. I mean, with that square, you can't have Venus and Juno squaring each other. All right, I'm telling you that right now. You just can't. I mean, because that's not a loving marriage, right? You want to have love in your marriage, right? You want to have that sustainability in your marriage. Another thing, the longevity, right? Look at Saturn. Saturn is in Aquarius at 23 degrees, right? What is it doing? It's creating an inconjunct to the Sun and Mercury. So the longevity is not going to be there. All right. So they're not going to have longevity in their marriage. It's going to be short-lived. And what did we see that at? We saw that in their natal charts where at least in her natal chart, where, that longevity is just not there. Even in his, the longevity is just not there. So here it is repeating out in their marriage. All right. So it's an adjustment. They had to adjust to this, unconventional way of not being able to maintain their marriage. Okay. Not being able to stay together for a long period of time. So that's what's going on with that. Now, again, that inconjunct to the Sun and Mercury, they have that. Okay. So they had to adjust to that. Although they have this trine with Saturn on this day with Venus, Saturn is retrograde. So it's leaving Venus. It's running from Venus. So it's running from that longevity of love. Okay. It's leaving. Okay. Because Saturn is retrograde. Okay. So basically, they're not going to have longevity. It's going to be short-lived. It's going to be shortness because Saturn rules longevity, but however, is retrograde. So it's going to be the opposite of longevity. It's going to be short-lived. All right. So you have to watch out for the things like that. When Saturn's retrograde, you want to have Saturn moving forward. So you want to have Saturn trining the sun or Venus on that day, or Saturn trine and Juno. You want to have all those planetary alignments together when you get married, because that's going to create the longevity in the marriage. Also, that's going to create the love in the marriage. That Juno and Venus, that's going to create that loving relationship and loving marriage. All right, that's something they don't have. All right, so they have fun together. As a matter of fact, let's take a look at their charts together, and I'm gonna show that, because they got some good stuff going on. Like I said, Ben, look at him. We got his chart up again. He can act real good. He's a great actor. Yeah, he can act. Look at his sun. It's trine in Jupiter right there, although it's retrograde, but he has luck. He got luck doing that stuff. As far as him acting and stuff with entertainment, this South Node is right there, 25 degrees of Cancer. That's creating a trine with the vertex. That's nice. He can act, okay? Real good. Get into character and all that. So, got some good stuff going on. Definitely some good stuff. Same thing with Jennifer Lopez. She can, she can act as well. Look at this. She got some really good stuff going on. So, with her dancing and stuff, look at her Mercury. All right. It's at 3 degrees of Leo. That's a nice trine with Mars. That's why she can dance so good, guys. Look at that. Beautiful thing with her. Not trying to get off subject, but actually she got a grand trine. She got the sun in Leo, trine in Mars in Sag, and then she got Chiron right here. Although it's retrograde, that's a grand trine with her sun. That's a beautiful thing. And that Chiron right there, it's in Aries. So what she did, she brought a unique view when it comes to her dancing. And her acting. So that's a beautiful thing. That's why she made it like that. So they're both successful individuals, but they just really can't be together in a marriage because of their personal planetary alignments. Okay, they almost made it. Okay, but they okay. Let me just show you guys right now why. Let me show you why they didn't make it. Okay, because everybody's wondering. Let's get down to the thing of why they didn't make it. Okay, these are their two charts together. Okay, the reason they didn't make it. Okay, they got some good stuff going on. Okay, let me just go down the line. Let's go down the line and tell you about the good stuff. Okay, the good stuff is, his Juno. Okay, and first of all, he's younger than her. All right. So, and I think we had a viewer or something like that. It was like, well, I think it was Ursula in Chile, and I was saying that Ursula is applying to her. Yes, it goes by age, guys. Okay, it goes by age. I know you guys were looking at. Wait a minute. Well, that particular degree is smaller than the other degree in hers. No, it's who likes who the most. Okay, and Ursula liked Chile the most. Okay. He was applying to her. That's what I mean about applying, okay? And if you look at it, that's what was going on with him and her. He was applying to her. So when you saw those aspects, you have to take that into account. Same thing with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. He's younger than her. He wants her more, okay, than she wants him, okay? So that's why he did it a second time. I'm about to show you why he went after her a second time, okay? So he is applying to her, okay? So, matter of fact, his Juno. Just looking at my notes here for a minute. So he's in the inside, all right? He's the inside wheel, guys, and she's the outside wheel. And the reason I did it this way, because we don't have a birth time, but we can see her and him, okay? So look at his Juno. His Juno is at 17 degrees of Libra. All right. Now, that is trining her Venus. His Juno is trining her Venus. That's a beautiful thing. That's good. I mean, that's the reason he was thinking, like, you know what? We can do this a second time around. We can fix what happened last time. Whatever type of afflictions we had, we can try to fix. That's what he was thinking. Okay. And it's a nice trine. Anytime you got Juno trining Venus, anytime your Venus or somebody's Venus is trining another person's Juno, or your Juno or their Juno is trining another person's Venus, oh yeah, it can feel amazing. Okay. And that can feel good. So that's what they got. And also her Venus is making a conjunction to his Saturn. He's thinking like, man, I can stay with her for life, because he's thinking about that longevity. Okay, so that's the reason he's thinking like, well, this can go again. This can be really good. We can do this again. I'm gonna get to it, guys. I'm gonna get to why it ended. Okay, so. But I'm just going over the good stuff they got, because they got some good stuff here. I mean, they could have, but they just couldn't. Okay, they could have, but they couldn't. All right. So now her Saturn, it's her Saturn right here at 8 degrees of Taurus. All right. And again, that's another thing. We'll go back to her chart, because she's stubborn. Okay, that's another thing. So she's stubborn in relationships as well. But the reason she's stubborn is because her Saturn, if you see her Saturn right here, it's in Taurus. It's squaring her sun. Okay, her sun is squaring her Saturn. Okay, so just keep that in mind, guys, because this is something that could have drove his ass up the wall. Her stubbornness, oh yeah. Okay, because she's very stubborn. I mean, anytime you got Saturn in Taurus like that, and it's squaring the person's sun, they're stubborn. Okay, she's not gonna budge. Okay, no matter what. So he was probably telling her some shit like, "Hey, baby, I need you to go ahead and do this, do that, do that." She was like, "Hell no, I ain't doing it." And he was like, "Well, won't you just do it?" I mean, I'm telling you, okay, because this is why it's very hard for another man to deal with her. Okay, is because she does have some stubborn aspects about her. Okay, so again, that's just one of the offsides of her. But her Saturn is trining his 7th house cusp. Look at that. That's beautiful right there. So that's why he was thinking like, man, hell yeah. I mean, it's absolute too. Look at that. Saturn at 8 degrees of Taurus and his 7th house cusp at 8 degrees of Capricorn. I mean, damn, it almost seems like it's solidified, doesn't it? But it's not. I mean, it could be, right? That's what he was thinking. And again, remember their way of thinking? Remember, both of them got Mercury and Leo. Mercury's in his fall in Leo. Okay? So their thinking is like kind of off center. All right? So they're thinking that this can work. I mean, the vertex and Saturn is trying. Her vertex and her Saturn is trying basically his 7th house cusp. And also her Juno is making a conjunction to his 7th house cusp, which is nice, right? You would think like, damn, this is nice. They have a nice, they're compatible. I mean, you would think that these two people are compatible, but it's one thing that I'm gonna get to that it kind of erases all these trines and good things. Another thing, oh yeah, look at her Neptune. Her Neptune is right here in his 5th house. Okay. Oh man, Neptune in Scorpio. Oh yeah. I mean, and it's making a conjunction to his vertex. Now, guys, let me explain the vertex. The vertex is basically a point of inevitability. Okay, so anytime you see that in the chart, it's like a point where it's, hey, that you're gonna meet this person no matter what. Okay, it's a point of inevitability. All right, it's inevitable, basically. Okay, so it was inevitable that they were going to meet again or get married or be in a relationship. It was inevitable. All right. Now, again, Neptune is a higher octave of Venus. Okay. So, but that's some good sex. So, yeah, they had good sexual chemistry. Okay. I will say that because it's in the fifth house. The fifth house rules sex as well. So that's really good. You got his Lilith right there that was making a conjunction to, her Neptune as well. I mean, that's really good. Really good sexual chemistry. Women who have Neptune and Scorpio, they've known to have orgasms because Neptune rules orgasms. Okay, so and it's when it's in a sexual sign like that or Pisces or something like that. Yes, orgasms are very frequent. So yeah, y'all write that shit down. It's up to you. So, but that's just a little tidbit. But yeah, that's a nice little that's nice right there. You know what I'm saying? So good sexual chemistry. Also, it is. Oh yeah, this is another thing. This is another reason why he thought that going through this relationship again would be, really good. Okay. If you see her Neptune again, it's in Scorpio. It's making a trine to his south node in his first house. That's him. Okay. That's the house of the self, right? The first house. His south node is at 25 degrees of Cancer. That's a nice trine. It's absolute. Okay. So that's why he was like, as you know, the south node rules the past. So again, he went back to the past. He was like, wait a minute, I'm looking at the past. Like we were supposed to be together. So we need to do this again. We need to try this again. That's the reason they're doing this again, guys, because this trine right here created that. Her moon probably had something to do with it as well. If we had a birth time, I guarantee her moon is probably at 28 degrees or 26 or 25. Okay, but it's in range. Okay, it's in range of his south node. So he felt that like, wow, we can do this. We can correct what happened last time. That's what they said. That's probably what he said. I'm sure that's what he said. All right. I mean, of course, her north node is up there in Pisces. Of course, trying his south node. That's good again. So really good stuff. Really good stuff. And it's actually her south node is trining his vertex. And again, I mean, so they got some good stuff going on. I mean, just a damn shame that they just didn't make it. And the reason they didn't, guys, here it is right here. Okay. Anytime you guys see this, in a relationship chart or anything like that, or if you in a relationship with somebody or you see someone in a relationship and their Juno is in opposition of their Venus, okay? If one person's Juno is in opposition of the other person's Venus, or one person's Venus is in opposition of the other person's Juno, it's not going to work, okay? And that's what happened with them. I mean, her Juno is in opposition of his ascendant, okay? And his Venus. So it's basically not going to work. And also they got married at the wrong time. That's another thing. Okay. So in this marriage, he's not able to give love like she wants, right? I mean, think about it. When you got another person's Venus like that, they're not able to give love like they should. They can't. Okay. He's not able to give that love that she wants. He's not able to be in the limelight like she wants. Okay. He likes loving in private, right? She likes being on the red carpet with him, taking photos. That ain't him. I mean, you see where his Venus is at. His Venus is hidden. It's in the 12th house. So you got that going on. So I mean, and also you got her Juno is retrograde. It's moving away from its seventh house. Look at that again. So yeah, guys. I mean, unfortunately, they didn't make it. All right. I wish they would have, but they don't have the planetary alignments in their natal charts to even make it. Okay. They just don't. So you have to be designed for marriage. You really have to. You have to get married at the right time. Unfortunately, these two individuals really can't be together because of the planetary alignments that I just went over. So, man, Ben to get back on his feet. She'll be in another relationship by the time you say cat in the hat. She's good at doing that. And he should just have friends with benefits. Okay. That's the only thing he should have, because he is not built to maintain a marriage. Okay. Jennifer, of course. Yeah. I mean, friends with benefits too, because she's just too stubborn in the relationship. She would have to find, actually, I mean, if she finds some beta male, some guy she can, rule or something like that. That's another thing with both of them. You can't have two captains driving the ship. Okay. So she has to be a little bit more submissive, which she's not. Submission is ruled by Saturn. And what do we say, guys? Saturn is squaring her sun. So she's not, and Mercury. So she's not able to be submissive. Look at that. So she would have to find a beta male or something like that to rule over, I suppose. That's the only way she gonna survive in a relationship. Now, Ben, of course, he got to get somebody that's go deal with him. All right. So they can deal with each other. Okay. The frustration was there. And again, I would say he's a hothead, but man, yeah. I mean, look at his Mars. Let's just go back to his natal chart here for a minute. If you see his Mars right here, it's in the third house. All right. It's not combusted by the sun, but it's in the third house in Virgo. So when you got something in Virgo like that, if things don't go perfectly, he gets frustrated. Okay. And look, it's at a critical degree. That's another thing. All right. So he doesn't know how to control his anger. All right. It's premature. Look at that. It's at 0 degrees. It's a critical degree. And also it's squaring Neptune. So that in itself, I mean, he get emotionally charged when you move his shit or something like that, or something's not perfect. Yeah, he can get emotionally discombobulated, and guess what? He's upset. So, but anyway, guys, that's the thing with Ben and Jen. All right, and you guys see where it's going, down the drain. All right. So they won't do this again because they see for themselves that it won't work. This has a lot to do with that Neptune that they had going on with the vertex and stuff like that, and also the South Node, because again, they both had this dream of of getting back together and making it work again. And once they saw that it did not, now they quietly trying to untie the knot. All right. But that's what the deal is with them. And yeah, guys. And I know this was a long video, but I had to explain it. I mean, hell, that's what's popping right now. Ben and Jen. So got the others coming. I told you guys, on the grind again. So I'll get back with you guys on the next one.